Okay, I think that's enough from me. I want to introduce our first keynote speaker. This is the man we all call boss. He's our fearless leader, Daniel Kraft. I think most of you probably had a chance to meet Daniel over the last couple of days, last night or today. Or maybe you've met him in customer meetings, maybe you've met him on Engage or on social media. If you haven't, say hi. Very approachable guy. Daniel and I met last year at Collective in Denver, and then coincidentally, I was a customer then, coincidentally we went to South by Southwest, and we hung out for a couple of days, Daniel, me, and Marcus von Oschoff. You know, I was pretty inspired at the time, and I still am, by Daniel's vision, his energy, and his constant desire to beat me in the Fitbit leaderboard. He's dedicated. He's even bought a treadmill desk. So I call him for like a meeting, and Daniel's like, "Hey, Luke," and he's walking. I'll show you the Fitbit leaderboard maybe tomorrow. I'm super excited that he's leading us headfirst into Sitrion's future. So he calls me the crazy Aussie. That's okay, because sometimes that's true. Please give a really warm welcome to the stage, our CEO, Daniel Kraft.
Welcome. I'm going to walk around because I don't have my walking desk here. So I will make sure that I will stay ahead of Luke. If that makes you nervous, no problem. Stand up and join me in walking. Isn't that an awesome stage? I had absolutely no idea that we're going to have oranges on the stage, that we're going to sit in couches. I would have come with my sweatpants and it would be awesome. I'm not sure how people in the company talk about me. I heard the term boss the first time when Luke sent out the FAQ about the event, and immediately somebody jumped up and said, "I want to be the boss." I said, "Okay, I outsource the keynote to you, and then we will see." She gave it back to me, and I'm stuck here now with you to tell a few great stories about us. This event is all about you. This is about how the stuff that we built is helping you to make work better. And anytime during the week, just approach me and share your stories, good and bad. Don't hold back with the good stuff. And also share the stories that don't work. So for you who have not been here last year, the company has fundamentally evolved into a next level. We have made investments, we have built great stuff, and I want to give you a short summary of what has happened in the last 12 months so that you get an understanding how the good old NewsGator has transformed into Sitrion. So you will see a lot of moments where you're saying, "Hey, this is the good old NewsGator stuff." And then you will have moments where you're saying, "This is new, this is good." And I want to share a little bit of that thinking. So for those of you who have not been with us at the last collective, we spoke about the connected people and how we unlock the power of connected people. And networks have transformed and improved the way we get stuff done like never before. There was this network of hands where people started to get into factories together, and mass production helped us to be so much more productive. And this network of hands working together was then later repeated with the network of minds, where people sharing ideas. We are living in a knowledge economy, where people working together and you don't need to remember everything. This has been another big boost of productivity. And currently, we are in this midst, what we call the network of hearts, where it is not just about the facts, it is about engagement and about aligning your vision as an individual, your desires as an individual, with those of your organization. So that if you are standing behind your boss, which is just the person that is representing hundreds or thousands of people, if you're aligning behind that common idea that your organization has, then you're going to be much, much more productive. This is really crucial because social is not just about posting. Social is about emotionally connecting. And it's not just about agreeing with each other on a human level, it's also about aligning your power, your energy behind the cause of your organization. And so let's see how much progress we have made on delivering on that mission. We looked at this and we found that social has made a major, major impact. And as Gloria Berg from Unisys said earlier this week in a tweet, she said, we passed the tipping point where social and the transformation that comes with it is not anymore optional. It is mandatory to make you survive and be competitive. She says it's not about the if, it's about when. And the longer you wait, the tougher it gets. So we looked at this and we said, hey, how can we get the social part merged with the business part? And so we formed our own vision to make work better and for every employee to get the job done better every day. So there are 4 components we're focusing on. We want to make sure that employees be engaged. They know what's going on and they know what the cause of the company is, all the little things. They also should be connected, not just to each other, but also to the resources in the organization, to the information. Be smart. Have everything you need to make good decisions. Our goal is to allow you to make more good decisions and to be productive. Get all of the routine work out of your way that you can concentrate on the fun stuff of your job. So let's spend some time on this and see what we have done in the last 12 months, and then we take it further from here. So when it comes to products, I was surprised to hear this. Actually, we were a bit frightened by the fact that we have released 16 products, solutions, and tools. And that is excluding the mobile clients that we have rebuilt from scratch for you. 16 products does not mean you have 16 releases and you need to update every 2 to 3 weeks. I know you don't like that. I can completely understand this. As a big organization, you want to have some time to do this. But we have so much great stuff for you, and I'm going to show some of that for you. Our services team and the partners and many of you are now aligned behind the adoption framework, which is a free framework we built together. Many of you contributed to that. It helps you to gain value from the products that you implement. So the adoption framework is not a product of ours, it is an idea of all of us together. We also improved our capabilities on the different backend systems, SAP, Microsoft. We have an awesome mobile team. There was this question when we acquired Sitrion that was like, are you moving now to SAP? Well, yes, we are adding SAP to our portfolio, to our competence, but we are absolutely committed to the Microsoft ecosystem. Larry is here from Microsoft. You will see fantastic devices out there from Microsoft. And if you have not tested them, do it here. I have a Lumia phone. I actually have not with me because my wife took it away from me. But they are really getting good now. And look at the mobile devices, so check them out. Microsoft is really important for us, but we also need to expand into other ecosystems. So we're expanding, we're not leaving anything behind. When it comes to support, we actually made the head of customer care of the Sitrion Classic team the global head of customer care. Oliver is here, he's in the back. So if you find him, he can tell you great stories. He has a German accent, although he's living for, 20 years in the US. So there's a nice combination of, the power of the US with the discipline of the Germans combined, which you need in support. There's an interesting fact. We have improved the response time. We have improved the resolve time. And we have reduced the number of tickets just in the last 12 months, fundamentally. So this is great stuff because the team is working really hard to get this done. And there's one more cool thing that we also added to the whole customer care story. We're proactively providing education. So we have more than 20 training offerings, and you should check them out. There's a lot of good stuff, and we're further investing. And from time to time, we make all of the digital parts of that even available to you on Engage. So talking about Engage, Engage is our home to have conversations. This is our social platform. And in the last 12 months, there were great improvements. We have more questions asked, but we have even faster answers to those questions. And we have even more answers than questions have been asked when you're looking at the increase. And what I really like is we have a fundamental improvement on the good answers. Now, this is not something for me to claim, because this is you all answering questions. We do not distinguish between who answers a question. We only care that it is a good answer. So if you're not in Engage, make sure you get on Engage today. And if you don't know how to do this, the gentleman who makes all the jokes on stage, he is the community manager, and he is going to make sure that you get all the access and you get all the introduction and all the help you needed. So Luke, you set camp somewhere then, and then people will come and you will work with them. We have completely redesigned it. We made everything easier. We make it easier to access, and thanks to our partner, Definity First, it also looks awesome. So they helped us a lot to turn that into a pure, useful environment, into something that's also fun to work in. And you will find there are a lot of pictures there, people I'm recommended to connect with that have no pictures. So if some of you have no picture, Luke mentioned earlier there's a photo op. Use the opportunity and get into it. I'm very happy to connect to you if I know your face and I can connect and find out who you really are. So from that, I would like to go into products. And one of our flagship products is our social workplace solution. This is where the majority of you started. You said, we need to go into social. We need to do something. But what I learned in the last about 18 months is a major shift from we need to go social into we need to transform our organization. So for many of you, it became the platform to build on, to expand from. So there are lots and lots of great solutions out there. I saw how you made use of this platform. And I'm really excited about that. The social workplace is a cornerstone of our portfolio. So when you made good progress, talk to each other how to expand from that. This is a phenomenal hub. And I'm going to show you a few solutions that should inspire you. One of them is the social innovation. We have learned a lot that companies want to innovate, but not innovate in form of a new drug, a new product, a new car. It is about have the entire organization participate in transforming your business to a more agile and more innovative company. There is innovation happening on your product and services level, but there is also innovation happening on a process level. How do we do stuff? How do we get our work done better? That's also innovation. And many of you have worked with us. In fact, State Street, the Customer of the Year 2013, has been helping us a lot to develop this solution, and it has been a great run. So we will learn more about that actually tomorrow. The cool part about that is it is something that builds on top of the platform you already have. So make use of that. Corporate communication. We're going to talk about this today as well, because communication and the people in the organization who are in charge of communication are the most challenged with social. Suddenly communication is out of control. Everybody has a voice. Everybody can say something. What we have done is, with you together, give you an environment in which you can harvest that. And you can also go and have specific messages sent to specific groups of people and measure who has read it and who has seen it and what kind of sentiment you have from that message. So it's not the email anymore from the CEO that get forced into your inbox that you never read. Now it's the message from the CEO, sharing the vision, and everybody chipping in and making a comment. I realize that with myself. Anytime I post something, being really proud of something, there is somebody in the organization who finds something that can be done even better. And that's what this corporate communication is all about, making work better, making you a better company. Something that most of you maybe just heard of when we acquired the company Sitrion is the smart routines. When you're looking at the time that you spend every day, there's a good chance that there is routine work that you need to do that is extremely cumbersome. Just think about a vacation request, or think about the travel request to get here. You need to lobby yourself into your boss, making sure, hey, I want to go there. Then you need to fill out a form in a very cumbersome environment. You press a button, it's gone. You wait, nothing happens. You wait, you get nervous. What should I do? You go to your boss. The boss didn't press the button yes because it was so hard. It didn't work on the mobile phone. All of that is something we're addressing with the smart routines. All of your processes, all of your tasks, unified in a gorgeous environment that's simple and easy to use, and it works mobile. That is some really cool stuff you should look at. The good part of this is, as you know us, we are really strong and big fans of SharePoint. This is also working in Office 365. So we have demoed that actually on the SharePoint conference. You can integrate that with our social, absolutely. You can also integrate that with your Yammer if you want. You can integrate it with other social platforms if you really want. The good part of that is now routine works are not boring anymore. They're super sexy and they're happening in one place for you to be productive. One way to look at this is our HR Service Center. It is the combination of our corporate communication solution, many of you know as ICOM, and the smart routines. So we have now an environment in which you can interact with all of your HR activities, all of your approvals, all of your requests, all of your dialogues in one place. And our engagement managers will be thrilled to show you how this works. Since all of your environments are somewhat different, it requires a bit of a dialogue, what part suits best for your organization. But think about this. Think about open enrollment. What we learned, and I was surprised about that this is often still a paper-based process. And now you digitize that. We had customers that went from 6,000 support calls on open enrollment down to 8 with that. There were other support calls, of course, but all of the things, how does it work? What should I do? What button should I press? All of this went away. So think about it. 6,000 times somebody asking an HR person, can you help me with the technology? It's 6,000 times an HR person is not able to do her job because he or she cannot help the people in the company to make work better because they have to worry about forms and buttons and regulations. So when you're looking at this, this is a great lineup for you to capitalize on. There's one more thing I'd like to share, which is the engagement scorecard. I have to say, this is, many of us in the company say this is our best product. It is actually a fairly small thing when you're looking at it, but it has a huge impact because the one thing that you as leaders in this space need is you need to demonstrate progress. You made the bet a few years back that social is going to make your company better. How do you prove it? This is what the engagement scorecard is all about. You're setting yourself targets that you'd like to achieve, and those targets are going to be measured across your entire social environment, and it allows you to report back how are you doing against those targets. We're actually making it now also available on community level, but this is the starting point to make social real so that you can demonstrate that this investment you made and the trust in us, in our product, pays off. And if you find some parts that are not going so well, you know to address them. There's nothing worse than a problem that you're not aware of and then it blows in your face. So when you're looking at the lineup we have for you, it is a lineup that consists of a rock-solid platform It consists of solutions that are specifically for you, jointly developed. None of the things you see here has been done in the lab. All of it is based on conversations we had together. Most of the things you see here have been developed with customers, have been implemented, and then productized. So this is the way we're also going to go forward. We're going to continue to invest in that. And Brian Kellner, our CTO, is going to talk about this in a moment. So where are we? Where are we on our journey to the future work, the social workplace, making work better? Products helping us to get to a certain stage. But it's the leaders, the thought leaders, who are taking this to a completely new level, who are challenging us all the time what to do better, not just with the product. Think about the adoption framework. It was not us coming up with the adoption framework. It was the smart people out there that using our product said, we need to have something, a common language, how we can address this. And I'm really, really excited to have those leaders here live on stage. Please welcome Tina Davis, Susan Warner, and Heather Gossett to come on stage and share their stories. You may wonder why Gloria is not coming on stage. She had a personal emergency and she had to take care of something. This is the easy way here. Unless you want to give Luke more reasons to have jokes, this is not the way to go. Welcome, Heather.
Thanks.
Good to have you. And those of you who
I love the pillows.
Oh, yeah.
So great. Can we take these home?
Well, this debate about who taking the pillows home, this is going to last the entire event. So there's a long line how we should do this. If you want to submit a proposal how we should do it, you're very welcome to do this. You may wonder what this Eureka moment thing is all about. So our partner iMason took some of our technology and said, hey, we're going to build a really cool app. And you should all have had some invite going out to you. If not, then find Luke in the break. There is an app that's built on our technology that allows you to take pictures and share it with each other. So we were going to talk about this later, but the great partner who made this possible was iMason, who is a phenomenal mobile partner. So make sure that you're using it, and you wonder how this is done, just find them. They're really good people. They have great ideas. Now, tell me, we have Susan here, we have Tina here, we have Heather here. Sorry we couldn't, change the
It's
picture
all
in
good. I'll be Gloria.
such a short notice. We talk about making work better. And we had a little preparation, so all of the questions are rehearsed, and I'm going to ask them one by one. We actually decided that we will not have any of that. So I will have those wonderful people share their stories, and I hope that I can learn something. If you in between want to also participate, just raise your hand. Lauren is walking around with a microphone to help and get your questions. But let's get started. Susan, making work better, social platform, is this really happening?
At MasterCard, I can say yes, but it's taken us a while. First, we had to make work function. Let me go back just a couple of years. We had a very aging intranet. It was 12 years old, crashing daily. Last week's content would just suddenly appear for who knows why. No search capability whatsoever. And yet we had a new CEO in town, very hard driving, hard charging, and his vision and the reality of MasterCard were not matching at all. You think of MasterCard and you think credit card company, and that's what I thought when I joined 3 years ago. We're actually a payments company, a technology leader in the payments industry. And when you really look at MasterCard, we're algorithms, we're encryption, we're fraud detection, we're big data. This is technology. This is science, technology, engineering, and math. But if you asked any of our probably 6,000 employees at the time, they would say, well, we're a B2B company in the finance industry. So again, the CEO's leadership and his position of who we are and what the reality was, and then you've got internal tools that were just not making it work. We were at a huge crossroad. We are a worldwide company. We're 55 offices around the world. When I'm sleeping, Singapore is wide awake. When I'm working on Friday, Dubai is off, but when I'm off on Sunday, Dubai is on. And yet we had an intranet that they considered, the rest of the world considered US-based. They didn't even go to it. I would show up at Regions and show them a picture of the intranet, and they'd be like, oh, look at that. Like they had never seen it before, and that to me was horrifying because, again, if you've got this vision of achieving a world beyond cash, and you're saying you're a technology company, but the tools in place just don't make that work at all. Before we could get work better, we had to make work function. So I'm pleased to say that with the partnership of our technology group and Jerry Canaday, who's over there, we just put pedal to the metal, obviously convinced management to shell out some money, and it's significant money, but they knew that, again, you had to get here, you've got to put things in place. So it took less than a year, actually, from start of implementation, but we now have an intranet, one communication tool that all can use around the world. It's customized, it's social. We had quasi social capability, which is somebody would submit a comment via email, and then our team would place it up there on a blog, and that to me is horrible. So we're now at a point where we've got open dialogue across the world. We're sharing files. Before, Singapore would try to access a file, and 20 minutes later, that download little hourglass was still going. That's not work better. That's not even work functioning. So we're there, or at least we're at the start of a new journey, and I'm thrilled to be part of it and to see the sea change happen at MasterCard, where it is constant dialogue, exchanging of ideas. We not only look at the number of comments at work, but we look at the tone of the comments. And on articles and blogs, it's about 70% congratulatory and 30% business. But when I look at the activity stream, it's almost the reverse. It's all business conversations and then 30% congratulatory. That to me is really exciting to see where we're going, where communications is now playing a role in work collaboration. So we're getting there.
That's exciting. What I hear is that this transforming is really a major part. So Tina, when we spoke, you really almost said the same thing, that transforming the organization to become something better, something greater. Can you share a little bit how you experienced that, this transformation?
Well, I work at Comcast, and we're in a rapid transformation ourselves as a business. We're moving from being a traditional cable provider, kind of a utility model, into being a much more agile technology leader at the intersection of media and technology. And we are competing in a completely different environment. So we're no longer just going up against Verizon or Fios or AT&T. We're competing against Amazon and Google and lots of startups that are currently in garages that we don't even know about. So what this means at our company is that we've got to think differently. We've got to act and work differently. Our leaders have to lead differently. And so I work in the technology organization where we've got 4,000 engineers who are dramatically different from the rest of Comcast's 130,000 employees. Most of Comcast's employees, as you would imagine, are hourly employees. They are on the front lines of customer service. They typically have a high school education. They have unemployment that is dramatically different from the engineers and thought leaders and technologists who are in my organization. And so it wasn't really a big priority to move the rest of Comcast deeply into this transformative place, to do social, to disrupt our communications internally. But it was absolutely a critical priority for me and for my leaders. So I was able to really engage my leaders to lean in and embrace this in the context of the truth that we have to disrupt ourselves as a business, as leaders, as a workforce, in order to survive and compete and have a narrative that's going to have meaning to our shareholders.
It's fascinating that you addressing it so openly, that both of you, that we need to change to, you using the word survive, you describing it more politely, but it's the same thing. One company that went from customer to successful customer to partner is Unisys. Heather, it's great to have you here. Sorry about Gloria. Hope to see you later. Tell me a bit about the transformation from becoming a poster child as our customer and now becoming a super successful partner of ours.
So for us, and I think our story is very similar to what you share and what I know your stories are, is that we had an opportunity to transform the way we do work and give our employees the tools that they needed. From a process perspective, we all know that you can put a tool in and you can build a beautiful process, but you stick a human being into it and it tends to get screwed up. So for us, we had a lot of focus on the people and transforming the way they look at work and how they get work done. So our opportunity presented itself with a new intranet and being able to put the tools that our employees need in one location. So in addition to kind of having this desktop of the future, so to speak, we also implemented this change plan and an opportunity for people to really engage with the technology, to engage with this new place where we get work done. We have over a 90% adoption rate, which we attribute to a really good internal team who is always out there, always on our intranet. They're always helping people understand how to use and find value in the tools that we have. We've also put it into our HR program. So when I started at Unisys, on my first day, I was introduced to our newsfeed. I was building a profile. I was connecting more than anything with my workforce. I was getting introduced to where our work gets done. So there was no mystery. I was immediately engaged, immediately connected, and I think that's where our success story is that this wasn't kind of a happenstance, and it wasn't we're going to flip the switch on a great technology and unveil this beautiful intranet, that we were going to be very focused from the human side of it. And here we are as again, constantly evolving and transforming. There's really no end game, which is the exciting part for these deployments, is that you can put a plan together, and it might be in a year we're going to bring on a new capability. In 3 years we want to have X metric for adoption. And you get to that point and you lift your head up and you think, wow, there's a lot more coming. It never ends, which is why the Sitrion product, and I tell this to a lot of our clients, I said, the Sitrion product for us helps us look much further out onto our roadmap, that this isn't sort of a once and done type of deal for us. This has capabilities that span where our business is heading and how we want to do work and how we want to connect.
Exciting. So there's no mystery to achieve 90% adoption. Just to give you the summary of that, so if you want to learn how this is working, find them. You all touched on this to be a starting point in an intranet-like fashion and then moving into more of a workplace environment. Why don't you share a little bit of the greatest business benefits that you as an organization achieve from that? Not necessarily from a technology perspective, but is there something that's now happening in your company that started with that little idea of being more social and now really transforming the organization? How would you summarize that thing to your leaders, saying, hey, this is how it makes our business better? The real business thing, not just the horizontal collaboration,
right,
but the business specific. Are you having more customers? Are you producing with less expenses? Are you improving the service quality? What are the things that really improved with that journey that you're on?
I'll start. I think I think most importantly, the connection with our employees has improved. Before we launched our new intranet, we did a poll and we asked them, do you have the internal tools, to achieve our vision? And only 33% said they did. And I'm not quite sure why they even said we did, because we didn't. But now, a year later, we put out the survey again, and 75% believe we have the internal tools to advance.
In 1 year?
In 1 year. That's huge to me. I can't tell you stats on how our business has improved, but I can tell you that MasterCard has gone from 6,000 employees when I joined, and we'll probably be over 10,000 this year. And that ability to have one company, one intranet, one group, enterprise-wide, the ability to connect, collaborate, communicate with each other, that's huge for MasterCard. And I see it in the results in the business. But I look at the stats on our intranet, on our social collaboration, and I see them moving forward. I don't have 90% yet, but I have 75% engaged on their profiles and using the activity stream. That to me is such a sea change from where we were. So I think I still need more time to show you the business benefits, but I know it's working, and I have the proof that the employees feel it, and they're asking for more. Already, we have 500 publishers that are kind of our, brand champions on MC Central. And when we poll them and say, what do you want? I want more advanced training. I want the next level of communication. That says it all right there. And I could easily ignore that, but we're not doing that at MasterCard. We're embracing that and saying, okay, what's next for us? Is it mobile communication? What we try to do is that seamless integration. I don't want an app for this and an app for that and send employees every which way. They really don't care. They just want it when they want it, and they want to work and get their business done. So to me, it's that seamless integration, it's transparency, and I think we're getting there.
Tina, last year we spoke on this panel with a group of people, and getting access to the management, having them excited, was a big topic.
Yes.
And I was preparing for this panel, and I asked you the question to lure some statements from you, and you said, we have no problem with that. So it's like, hold on, did we transform like 2 years, 3 years, 5 years into the future, or is your company just so great?
I would love to just say our company is so great because my leaders have been very open to these ideas. And look, it wasn't easy and it didn't happen overnight for us. However, I was able to connect this platform, this work, the ability to lean into social for the enterprise, the ability to get real candid dialogue with the business imperatives that my leaders care about. And so when you can prove that correlation, when you can make that connection, you will get their attention. And things like innovation are absolutely critical. I saw that Forrester quote earlier. It resonates deeply across this room. And every company is absolutely desperate for growth and innovation, for that eureka moment. And we know that great ideas can come from anywhere. And our leaders are finally starting to really grasp this in a way that shows that they're moving away from that feeling that they have to have all the answers. And they're willing to be in much more dialogue. So last year we did a huge restructure in our organization because we are in such a disruptive, competitive environment. And so we needed to form people into agile teams. We needed to change the way we work. And a lot of people got new jobs, new job descriptions, new opportunities, new responsibilities. And yet in the midst of that, our employee survey said that we went up 12 points on open and honest communication. Now, usually when you're reorging, usually doors are closed and there's lots of secrets, but because we leaned into this channel, because we got the leaders to give kudos to people who were demonstrating the kinds of collaboration and teamwork and innovation that are so wanted.
What did you do? What did you do with the leaders that they woke up in the morning and said, I'm now a social creature, and I don't know all the answers? I mean, I get so many questions, people looking at me like,
yes.
give me the answer. There is not the moment where people telling me, let's discuss what we could do. It's almost like, I have a problem, solve it. So how did your leadership team and your executive team woke up in the morning and said, hey, you know what, Tina, I get it now, let's do this? What happened?
A couple of things happened. I'm very lucky in that I sit in the human resources department. And so there is a very close relationship between our HR leadership and our executive leadership. And there's a desire and an understanding that we need to transform in order to stay relevant and prosper down the road, and that we need to lead differently if we're going to become a technology company. So over time, over many, many conversations, many emails, kind of coaching, prodding, holding their hands many times, sending notes early in the morning saying, did you see this? You really should like it. Or someone just got a badge. Can you jump in and congratulate them? Nice. It's drips. It's like a stalactite. They don't wake up one morning, but if you continuously lobby and beg and cajole and nag and tie it back to the results and tie it back and show them that it's working.
So there's a lot of coaching.
Yes, there's a great deal of coaching. And the best thing is the badging capability. And I want to do a shout out to Gino Guarneri, who works with me and for me at Comcast, who's co-presenting with me later, because he was a real trailblazer in insisting on getting badging implemented for us. And now we've got leaders who are whining to each other. How come you got the guru badge and I didn't? I'm posting just as often as you are. I don't get it. How did this happen? And
so the
yes.
score of the golf course got replaced by badging now.
There is a great deal of focus on that badging element. And when we do org announcements now, I've insisted that we include the person's degree and how many badges and which kinds they have in our community.
Awesome.
And so now it's really something prestigious that people aspire to get.
Wow.
So Heather, I know that you secretly, without telling us, included even your processes into the whole social workplace. I remember that when we had this conversation some time back that you're running on an Oracle system and the HR processes flow into the same intranet. Is that still social, or what drove you to include that into that social work experience?
It is because, again, we're transforming from a transactional type of arena into something that's new and a bit more interactive and engaging. It's not always about hitting a button, although we refer to that often here about, well, we hit a button, we need to approve it. But those processes are in place and supported by the technology, and we need to interact with that and be more transparent. So the transparency piece of it is a big win for us. It's also part of the integration of where we get work done. Again, not just the transactional piece, but really being in that space, working where I work, everything comes to me. I also don't have to be duplicative with what I'm doing. I don't have two separate systems for keeping that content. So my HR content lives in one place, but I can operate in multiple locations, and that integration for us is a big win. As we streamline, we're looking for ways to stop the duplication, stop the recreating of the wheel, and really this make work better. And I think you used to call it make work suck less. So we're really looking to make work suck less by making work better and putting that all in one location.
So is work better now? I mean, is this, if you're looking at what's happening, is usually people that implementing change often come with one piece of technology and then ride it for years. But you have made the bet to hang your career not on the one piece of technology, but on a fundamental change, how work is done. Yeah. So, how's that doing for you? this is a huge bet. I mean, a few years back, I remember that people said, oh, this is going to go away. Let's wait for a year. We had this 20 years ago with knowledge management. We had this 10 years ago with collaboration. How is this doing for you that you bet all your life on this phenomenal change that's happening?
Well, I would say I've been around a bit in communications and started at Fleishman Hillard on the electric typewriter, and it had memory, and I thought that was really great. And then we went to Wang Computers, and I remember in 1999 the intranet development was coming on strong then, and I was on an IBM platform. And since then, I've been on TeamSite, .NET Nuke, now SharePoint with the NewsGator Citrion overlay. I've gotten to see the evolution of communications, and to me, I'm really excited about what's next. And just seeing, not knowing what's out there, but knowing that we're going to make the right decision. We're going to look at all the options. We're going to weigh what our employees want, and that to me is an exciting place to be. And yeah, I staked my career on all of those things, whether it was the electric typewriter to get my press release out really fast, or even the crank fax. I don't know if anybody remembers that. But every technology tool is fantastic, but what really is important is informing your employees, making sure they're educated, making sure they're engaged, giving them an environment to openly collaborate, whether in Singapore, Dubai, Nigeria, or Purchase, New York. It's that to me, the ability to, like I said before, to transform internal communications from push-down communications of years ago to now playing an active role in advancing the business forward with collaboration. Again, another sea change for our work and function. So I welcome what's next, and I look forward to it, and idea sharing, seamless integration, all of that's coming for us, and I look forward to it.
Well, I agree. We are definitely putting our careers on the line by pushing into this space. I think that enterprise social is still very much in its infancy. There is no real, just like the way that we watch television is transforming rapidly, and my CEO has said many times TV will change more in the next 5 years than in the last 50. And I think that's true in the workplace too, how we collaborate and how we connect and communicate. But for me, the bet is paying off enormously, and I am so thrilled to be part of this exciting revolution where the workplace is moving away from this old stodgy hierarchy, where the leaders have all the answers, where everything is top down. And that old model really made my job and my role much harder and much more boring. And really, we've all spent days and hours and weeks writing talking points and formal messages and formal speeches from leaders with the understanding that they would say it and they would walk out of the room. Now we're in a world of dialogue, and we're getting everyone involved in communications. I mean, I own and lead communications for technology and Comcast, for my organization of thousands of engineers, but really everybody does. And it's democratized, and there is so much value from that candid dialogue and from everybody taking that step into user gen. And that's, for us, the holy grail, because we can't add staff. There's always increasing demand for communications and for more information and to recognize and engage. And we can't add more headcount, but we can get more people involved just based on their passion. And I loved that quote earlier about having that opportunity. I think you said this, and I wrote it down really quickly, and I tried to tweet it while you were still talking, but you were saying before that enterprise social gives us that chance to align our emotions with the cause of our business. And that is just, that's a beautiful thing. We're winning the hearts and minds of our people and bringing them together to reinvent something that doesn't have a clear-cut conclusion.
Right.
And so that's happening for us in our careers as communicators, but on a bigger scale, that's happening at my company in the media space that we're in. So I am having the time of my life with this.
Awesome. Heather, you are actually taking it one step further. You were a customer, you were the customer for many with a 91% adoption for a while. I mean, somebody's challenging you, 75% is getting close.
I know we better stay on our game.
But you actually now take the lines between internal and external away, and you taking your own internal solution and making it a service offering for your customers. Would you say that also the lines between what's an employee, what's a customer, what's a vendor, those lines are blurring or disappearing? Do you experience that now with the transformation that you're going through?
We do, and I think I'll also bleed off of what you've all said in terms of the shift for how we're communicating with people, and it's not always just an internal communication. We have a lot of people out there that we need to communicate with, be transparent with, give them a voice and an opportunity to work back with us. That transparency doesn't just have to be internal for collaboration. And I think for us, that's where the success story is that we're really empowering that whole ecosystem for social, is that it is internal, it is external, and the boundaries may be there in a technological fashion, but it doesn't have to be there in how we communicate. And for us, that's becoming a reality. And as you'd said, our solution is rather unique in that we are a customer, but we're also, we believe so much in what we do, and we've been very fortunate in our success in that we're able to now take that out to the marketplace and really sharing our story and what we've done very well with others who are at that starting point or maybe even midway, and trying to understand, what do we need to do? How do you make this work? How do you make work better? And we're really excited to be able to share that story with others now.
So I think we need to wrap up, but I would really like for you to share one more thought with the audience. If they're inspired by your journey and they want to go on the same journey and transform their business into such a success story as you did, what's the things that you would emphasize the most, and what the audience also should approach you later? I mean, make use of that. This is free consulting here. I think for today, Unisys is not charging today, but maybe tomorrow. Make use of that and reach out to those. I mean, those great people have transformed their business. And so I would like to learn from you, what is the thing that, our friends here should approach you later to talk about? What's the thing that really inspires you, as well as that you would like to share so they can do the same or even better than you did?
Well, I think my quote was up there, and that's everything to me for employee engagement. It's the ability to connect, communicate, collaborate, but have a whole lot of fun along the way. I mean, we're here a lot at work, and we charge very hard at MasterCard. And if you're not laughing all day long, that to me is the most important thing. Work hard, but have a whole lot of fun doing it. And what we get to do every single day with these platforms and the ability to connect people worldwide, that to me is really cool. And I'm very passionate about it. And we do goofy things at MasterCard, and we're proud to celebrate that and celebrate our employees.
I would like to just share a couple of calls to action that really worked for us. If you're in a hierarchical company, and many big companies are that way, work that hierarchy. Reach out to your leaders, tie this work with the business goals that they have, engage them not just once, but multiple times in every interaction you have. Make sure that you ask for the order. It's like we're all in sales. We're selling this new idea. So when new leaders come into the organization, I immediately make sure I sit down with them right then and there, and we create their profile together. So it's not overwhelming, and it's not on their to-do list and falling off. I do it in my one-ones with them, and I make sure I get on their calendars just for that reason. If they don't have a photo, I arrange for the photo to be taken. And it's just very important to continuously agitate and remind them again and again why this can really have value, and show them the results when you have that too. When you hit a certain percentage, I mean, 90% is really extraordinary. I wish we were there. We are, at critical mass in the 50s, and even then we're seeing so much more engagement. Show them the ideas that come up. We've got an innovation platform, for instance, that's part of an innovation community. Show them the ideas and the dialogue. Sometimes in the innovation community, people pitch an idea and it exists already and no one knew. And then suddenly the adoption of that other thing comes to the surface and gets really out there and gets used. So it's really about, in a way, we are closing our leaders. And once the leaders are bought in, then we get them to sell it. I put it in their talking points whenever they speak at broadcasts. I make sure that they're constantly also doing calls to action to get in and to participate. And it's amazing what happens when employees see their leaders in this participating. They really jump in and they feel like it's exciting, it's a great place to be. We'll talk about this more later, but I just encourage you to start there and keep rolling with it. Don't give up, because it takes time, but it pays dividends, and it's a wonderful thing when it starts to get that traction.
Cool. Heather.
So my philosophy on social is that it is a very individualized experience. The value I get out of how I do work is probably different from what you might find valuable. But I do know that outside of that individual experience, there is a bit more of a global expression of value, and that sharing those success stories. So if I find value in something and I make a really good story from it, maybe I bring some ROI, maybe I found my answer faster, or connected with someone that I never knew existed in my organization. Those stories need to be shared, and sharing those often in a very open environment can really help other employees who may be tiptoeing into this social space going, I don't really know what to do out here. This is not really how I intend to do my work. That may be because they don't know how to use it. They don't know where that value lies. And sharing those stories often is, I think, a great way for us to improve how people are using the tools that we're giving them and engaging.
Thanks, all three of you. Find them after the keynote. I can promise you, 10 minutes with any of them going to completely change the way you think about your company, the way you're thinking about your projects. I mean, I had phone conversations, I had in-person meetings, and any time I have a meeting, I want to rewrite everything we do, and they had a big influence on the way I see the way we do our work. Thanks, Susan. Thanks, Tina. Thanks, Heather. And a big applause to our leaders. Wow, there's really not much that can follow such a great team. So let me summarize a little bit how we think from a technology perspective this path to make work better could look like. And I'm sharing this with you as the same way I'm sharing this with our own employees. This is the way we think about what we do. So there are fantastic functional capabilities out there. We're building on them. We have no interest to rebuild something that is already existing. So Microsoft has a fantastic infrastructure and platform in place, and they further innovating, and they're further coming up with great capabilities, and we're going to include them. We're going to make them part of the solutions that we offer. Same is true for SAP and Oracle and others. You will see this. But we're building on those core functionalities and capabilities that come from the infrastructure that you have in place. And we expand that to build solutions that make social real. You heard it here. It's a reality. In the midst 50, 75, 90% adoption. Who of you thought that 2 years ago we would have a stage where everybody can talk about numbers above 50%? This is big. And having processes to be part of that is something that we always knew is going to happen, but today it's happening. We're going to make routines smart. We're going to include all the things that you need to do every day in this environment, in this place, to really make work better. But there's one more thing that we need to address. This is we need to get the integration of work and life done. It is not enough to have a great experience at work. You need to have a great experience, period. So we need to mobilize your enterprise. That is the only way we're going to get this done, so that we're reaching this point where it doesn't matter where you are and where you're working and who you're working with. A vendor, a customer, an employee, the difference is not about who they get their paycheck from. There is no difference. There is a moment in which you need to achieve something, and in that moment, those people need to work together. So I'd like to share a few of the thinkings that we have on this, and then we're going into deep diving into the technology. So are you really social? Is a key question. And I encourage you to look at social as a cultural change, as a change how to do business and not a checkbox. If your organization says, yes, we have social now, and none of the processes, none of the daily work is social now, you're not there yet. You really need to embrace the idea of social workplace solutions. Transforming your organization is the ultimate key to success. The good thing is those that do not transform will disappear over time, but I want you all to be drivers and leaders in that. What about trust in our people? We trust our people, right? You would think that, because with social we pretty much have no choice, because it's now open, conversations happening, people commenting, and while we all heard the stories about the disasters that could happen, nothing really happens. Everybody behaves like a good citizen in the company. But when it comes to the routine work, we're applying a completely different way. Did you know that a third of the companies require 2 levels of approval for a common HR task, and a quarter even 3 approvals? And more than half of you require HR to sign off on common HR transactions. So if I change my bank account, HR needs to approve it. What is this HR person approving? That my bank account is really my bank account? Can't validate that. That I'm suddenly giving my money to somebody else? Who cares? It's my money. And this is something we see across the board. So when you hear us talking about smart routines, we're not just talking about making a few processes look prettier. We're talking about taking on the next challenge to transform the way you're interacting with processes. Just as we transformed organization into be more social, we also want to make sure that you have a unified, personalized experience of all your processes, and you have that under your own control as an individual. And it's not this hierarchical approach that we broke down in social. We're going to break this down with processes too. That's our next big job that we do. Can we play? This is my son, by the way. And it was an afternoon. It was about 2 o'clock, and it was sunny, and we said, okay, let's go out to the lake and have hot chocolate and a coffee and a cake. And can you do this on a Wednesday afternoon? Leave your office, take your kids to the lake and have a little coffee or hot chocolate? I can't do this because all my work is mobile. I can take my tablet with me, and we're going to sit there, and then he's going to find some of his friends, and he runs away and has fun, and I have half an hour time to fix something, approve something. Oh, sorry, we don't approve things anymore. Watch how people do this themselves, working on keynotes, talking to you. I have all my conversations on video calls now. So when I have a link call, I have this on my tablet. And you will be surprised to see How many people wonder whether I'm really working when I have this in front of a gorgeous lake? It's not my problem that you're trapped in an office. I am absolutely productive sitting out there. So mobile is coming. And we see the tipping point right now. We are approaching almost 50% of employees, knowledge workers, working on a tablet. And we're going to see in the next 6-7 years that all of us will have some sort of tablet in our fingers. And if you don't have one, check out the lineup of Microsoft when you leave this door. But there is another trend happening, which is that those tablets soon will be owned by you, just as it is with the mobile phones we have. So bring your own device is going to be universal. Why? Do you really believe I'm going to go back to this gigantic box under my desk or the heavy laptop? No, it's going to be my only device that I'm going to get work done. Sure, if you want to create PowerPoints, oh, by the way, I'm actually using PowerPoint on an iPad. It's pretty cool. And on the Surface too. But if you want to have really heavy lifting creation, you may still need a machine that is better equipped to do this. But how many times do you do this? And how many times do you think you need it? And then nobody sees the nuances of the big, big spreadsheets that you have done. It all comes down to a few numbers at the end. So look at this and ask yourself, are you ready for it? There are 3 major things. We're going to make social real and have solutions that really empower you to become a networked organization. We're going to make routine smart by giving you unified access across the board on anything, tasks from SharePoint, processes coming from SAP or coming from Oracle, dashboards that coming from your CRM system in Dynamics or in Salesforce, all coming together and you can interact with that. And we mobilize your enterprise. And I should click. There's one more thing. When we build our cool stuff, we're relying on development environments. We're relying on tools that allows us to build products. And since we have just the greatest people ever, they are living and breathing in those development environments every day. So for the last years, we decided that we're going to improve them and make them better and make them more useful. And it dawned on us, why don't we do this really social and give you our development environment and our development tools? So you may have seen the app, the Eureka app, where you can capture a moment that iMason built for us. This has been built with the same tools that we as Sitrion using internally, now exposed to partners. And we want to do the same with all of you. So today, you're going to get access to our mobile development environment. And you can go and build your own apps. This is not us building it for you. Why? You have so many great ideas. We can't build all of that for you. You have so many great ideas that we can't even come up with. And so to keep up with the pace, we're going to give you the same tools that we're using internally. So this is for developers, but for a specific kind of developers. So let me show you a little bit what you can do with that, just to inspire you. Just a little heads up, the product is out there available for you now, today, to get started. It looks slightly different because we're doing a little facelift to make it look even better. So what you see here is the new version, which needs a couple of more days to be available. I think we're going to have this by late summer, but that doesn't change the functionality, it just makes it look even better. So let's have a look how this is working. So you have all of in one app, all of your things, approval events, you have information from backend systems that give you an alert something has happened. You can have posts coming from your systems that you can interact with. You can also have tasks that require your approval or your comment to be on that. And you can have your own series of apps being available in this environment. And you can hook it up to systems that your people really need every day. In that case, for example, a CRM environment. But we go one step further. We're also going to allow you to actively start something mobile now. Start a purchase order, scan something. And it goes further than that. We're unifying all of your tasks into one place. We're going to allow you to interact with those tasks, to leave comments, and of course, to work on them. And we have an entire app environment where you have your personal apps being together. You can look into this, you can look into the history of it. It ties into your backend system. It is not something that takes it out of context. It's actually giving you a view into this environment. So what you saw here is not just one app. What it is one app on your phone that includes any number of micro apps that you choose to give to your people. So they have one Comcast app, they have one MasterCard app, they have one Unisys app, but it's actually a composition of micro apps that you put together. So keep in mind, this is a development environment. This is not something that we will build for you. This is something where we can show you how to build it, and we have built lots of sample apps, but you can go and do this for yourself. And when you're looking at each of those apps, you might say, shoot, how do I get the skills and the resources to do this? The good thing here is you need 0 mobile development skills to do that. What you do is you're picking something that you always wanted to have for your employees, and you assemble that. You're taking one of the components, for example, a purchase order approval or a vacation request, and you associate the right people to it. You maybe have a decision that is necessary in this context, and you also want to associate some documents, and you also want to share this and have social capabilities. Just to be clear, we do not take anything from your systems and putting into a new one. We're going to leave the process in SAP. We're going to leave the document sitting in SharePoint. We're going to leave the person to be in your social environment. And when you hit this approve button, then it's happening and it's going to be sent in all those places. So when you're looking at this, Sitrion One is a mobile development platform that we have been using for more than a year. It has all the enterprise integrations ready for you. Tight integration into Microsoft, tight integrations into SAP. And Unisys has already started and shows you integrations into Oracle. It is all native apps. So you have one app on your phone, a native app, in Windows, in Android, in iOS. It is a super powerful development platform because it gives you all the controls you need and you can expand from that. And it has a personalized experience. So think about it. It is not one app with all the things your organization might have. It may have just the 3 things that this one individual need. So you may have, for your sales organization, have fundamentally different features showing up than your services team and your marketing team and your HR team. It is personalized. We're cutting the clutter. There is only the things you really need. And this is the idea behind the micro apps. The ability to assemble those micro apps for your team specifically. And you don't need any coding with mobile skills. You need some integration skills, depending how deep you want to go into your backend. But the days when you have this completely overpriced mobile developer charging you an insane amount of money to move a few boxes on the mobile devices, Those are over. We have built this for you. And the only thing is what you do is you drag and drop it on one of those cards, and then you have your mobile micro app ready. So I ask you to check it out. We launched a website, citrion.com/one yesterday night. So I hope you break it today, so before everybody else knows you broke it and we can fix it again. Be patient with us. This is an environment for people that develop, and there are some rough edges to it. But think about it. When you're putting this now back into context, making social real, and take this mobile, making all your routine work be unified and easy to interact with, it's now mobile. This is the first time you can truly mobilize your enterprise, and you don't rely on a kid that knows how to program in iOS. You don't rely on somebody who has spent their time on Android to build something. It is now back to you to build that. We are super excited about that. In fact, you saw the Eureka app from iMason, and it was an experiment because we said, why don't we try it? The development tool was not designed for an event. It was designed to get your backend systems and your collaborative environments together, and it worked just fine. So I'm super excited about that. And it also shows you a little bit where we're going as a company. We are 100% committed to the way we're transforming businesses with social. Making work better starts with the people. We realized that we need to include your business, and your business is often associated with processes. And combining those two things is available today. I showed you the great lineup of solutions, but we're taking it one step further and taking all of that mobile. All yours.